Hey folks, I am Debapriya from the Folks Knowledge. So today let's discuss another interesting topic of developmental biology, and that is the extra-embryonic membrane. And later on we'll also discuss the placenta. Yes, you heard right. The real physical bond that connects you with your mother in your early phase of life, through which she is actually giving you almost her everything: blood, nutrition, oxygen and whatnot. And at last but not the least, with a bonus. So stay tuned for that. The embryo has already been formed. Now what? You have probably familiar with the term morula, blastula and gastrula. But here I am not discussing about all this. Rather, I am focusing after plantation in the endometrium, how the embryo is surrounded with several membranes as it's growing. The extraembryonic stands for the exterior side of the embryo. The extraembryonic membrane are of four types: the amnion, chorion, yolk sac and the allantois. Here you might be thinking, why the embryo does need this kind of membranes? Means do they have any significance or whatever? We'll come to that later. Well, here's to mention that I am splitting this video into two parts. The first one will cover the extraembryonic membrane part, and the second one will cover up the placenta, its development, function and other stuffs. So what the extraembryonic membranes are? Let's take an example. When you are making eggs for your breakfast with some breads, you are not probably thinking how an egg is one of the largest cells on earth. That's right. The chicken egg is a single cell, just like the numerous tiny cells in our bodies. The chicken egg you made for your breakfast was not fertilized though. You heard that right? And for actually, you don't have to be felt guilty at all for murdering the chick. If the chicken was mated with the rooster before laying the egg, an embryo would have grown inside the egg. The layers inside the egg around the embryo is the extraembryonic membrane. So firstly, we have to understand that the extraembryonic membranes can only be found in the amniotic animals, including the reptiles, birds and the mammals. The extraembryonic membranes are developed from trophoblast, or you can say the trophoectoderm. The trophoblasts are the cells that forms the outer layer of the blastocyst. It provides nutrients to the embryo and develops into a large part of the placenta. They form in the first stage of pregnancy and are the first cell to differentiate from the fertilized egg. The layers of the trophoblast are collectively referred to as trophoblast, or after gastrulation, trophoectoderm, as it is then contiguous with the ectoderm of the embryo. Since trophoblast cells are the extraembryonic tissue, they don't actually become the part of the fetus, but they do become the part of supporting structures just like placenta and membranes. Let's discuss the yolk sac first. In reptiles, birds and egg-laying mammals, yolk sac is a structure that develops on the ventral side, providing nutrition for the growing of the embryo. The gooey yellowish stuffs inside the egg is actually the yolk sacs. It is digestive in function, and thus it actually acts as a extraembryonic gut. However, in humans, the yolk sac doesn't serve the nutritional purpose, as the food is provided directly through the placenta from the mother, an organ that present at the outer side of the extraembryonic membrane and provides nutrients and removes wastage from the embryo. The human yolk sac contributes cells that will become blood, sperm cells or egg cells in the later development. During development, the yolk sac moves away, morphing into a yolk stalk with a yolk sac appearing as a ball at the end. As cells migrate from the yolk sac up to the yolk stalk to the embryo, the yolk stalk eventually pulls away and is not present in the later development of the fetus. So, instead of providing food, just like in other animals, in humans, the yolk sac provides cells that will become the part of fetus in the later development. Now, the allantois. The allantois also develops on the ventral side of the embryo. It is present in the amniotes with polylethal eggs. Examples are the reptiles, birds, and the prototherians. It stores nitrogenous wastage of the embryo and thus acting as a extraembryonic kidney. It is reduced in the human beings. And now the amnion. Though it develops from the embryonic tissue, it isn't a part of the embryo. It present over the embryo. Between the embryo and the amnion, there is amniotic cavity filled with amniotic fluid. The amnion protects the embryo and the amniotic fluid acts as a shock absorber, thus prevents the embryo from desiccation. Depending on the presence of the amnion, the organisms can be classified into amniotes and anamniotes. It is included in the amniotic class in the developmental stages of the fetus until the birth. Suppose if you are to ship a fancy delicate wine glass to your friend, you would probably using a bubble wrap so that it can prevent the glass from slamming around and breaking. As the embryo is growing, the amnion is also growing with it. This enlarges the amniotic cavity for the movement and growing of the fetus later in the developmental stages until the birth. Now the chorion. The chorion is the outermost layer and covers the whole embryo. The function of the chorion is to contribute in the development of the placenta in placental mammals. Nothing is as beautiful as giving birth to a new creature. The meaning of parents and couples during pregnancy is a whole new biological concept that plays a very important role in the later part of development until the birth. And here's the ending. See you on the second part of the video with the bonus. If you like the video, then hit the like button and share with your friends who does need this kind of videos. And for any queries, ask me on any of my social media platform. The link of all my social media accounts will be provided in the description below. And for any queries, you can also ask me on the YouTube comment section.
Thank you for watching. Keep learning and cheers to the knowledge.